Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Payo time.
Hello, hello, hello.
Payo time, tell everybody about your channel and what's passionate about your team. What do you like about your Rams in
For sure.
general?
Well, first off, CG, thank you so much for having me on the chairs. I really appreciate everything you do for smaller YouTubers and larger YouTubers. You're really awesome at promoting a lot of us, and I'm inspired by the way that you condone yourself on YouTube. So thank you for that. My channel, we mostly talk about Rams, but we love talking football. I love talking football. Anyone, anytime, anywhere. I don't care what fan you're a team of. I want to hear about it. Over on my channel, we definitely have Rams kind of centric content, but we do a lot of other teams, things like that. And it's a good time. We love talking football, hearing the highs and lows, and I am excited that we are only 10 Sundays away from the start of the NFL season.
Oh, so 10 Sundays, 10 weeks? Okay. All right. Oh yeah, dude. You know what, man? I don't forget where I come from, man, because the time I was a smaller channel, dude, there wasn't much people promoting my channel. It's like I started from the bottom and there was no chances from other people giving me a promotion. They never shared my stream or none of that. I thought, I got to give everybody their recognition. And if you're doing a good job like you are, dude, of course I'm going to promote you. Of course I'm going to give you some props. I'm going to give you some shout out. Even though you're a Rams fan, that's not going to affect the way I feel. I still help my own fan base, but I like to help other YouTubers that are just more realistic and more passionate about their team. But the most interesting division I look forward to every year, and it's the best rivalry in football, and no offense to the Seattle Seahawks, it's the 49ers and Rams.
Yeah.
The 49ers and Rams are the best division by far. It goes way deep. Goes a long time.
Yeah, and I think so. Again, thank you for that sub, Travis. But the Niners have had the Rams number the past 2 seasons. We've lost 4 in a row to them. But I'm hoping with the Stafford trade and a couple of other strategic moves the Rams have made that hopefully we can at least split with the Niners next year. But I'm hoping we sweep you guys. No offense.
Oh, no, I take no offense because it's frustrating that we've been owning you guys for quite a while. But you know what really concerns me the most is Stafford. He is very accurate. He is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. And I just think that when you guys made that move, there's a lot of pressure for the Rams. I mean, you guys have the best talent in that division. You got a great defense. The offense is really good. I mean, you got 2 of the best underrated receivers in football.
Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, those are my faves. Yep.
Yeah. Huge shout out to Ultimate Report. He just came by for a little bit, but hey, appreciate it. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. That's the thing about the Rams. They got some good receiving depth right there. Deshaun Jackson, he may be a little older, but he'll put the top on the defense. So he does give you good leadership. Robert Woods is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. I mean, since he left Buffalo, he's been the best receiver for the Rams since Torrey Holt, if I'm mistaken. I mean, Torrey Holt was a damn good receiver, but you look at the way how Robert,
yeah. So Robert Woods is a really interesting receiver in the sense of he's so consistent. He has incredible route running, super reliable hands. But the big thing with him is he's involved in the blocking, like the zone run blocking scheme that a lot of teams are in now. I don't know if there's a wide receiver out there doing it.
Oh, no, I mean, Robert Woods does a lot of the dirty work. I mean, he's a really good receiver. That's what people don't realize. Like, sure, Cooper Kupp's like your other best receiver, but Robert Woods, since signing with the Rams, he's been the best pickup for the Rams for a long time. I mean, before that, Rams didn't have a go-to receiver. They didn't have that guy until they signed Robert Woods, And
so little fun facts about Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp is kind of the stat that Ram fans really like to kind of brag about those 2 guys is last season there were 3 players in the NFL that had over 1,000 yards after catch. And Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp were two of those three. The other one was Darren Waller for the Raiders. And so it's like after these guys catch the ball, the yards that they get afterwards. So that means that like Kupp and Woods, they get the tough yards.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about Cooper Kupp. He is a possession receiver. He's a yards after the catch type of receiver. Robert Woods, he does play physical after the catch. I've seen the way he plays. Like sometimes he's hard to tackle. So the one intriguing thing about the Rams is like you look at yeah, but all the injuries, man, all injuries aside, we just seem to have your number. I think Shanahan just knows how to play McVay.
Yeah,
I think the thing with the Rams it's like they just have the best stacked talent and the pressure's on them. But as far as the weakness, like what do you think is your biggest weakness on the Rams that you guys didn't address yet, but it needs to be fixed?
So I like to be optimistic and say it's more of an like unproven than a weakness, but if I'm being honest, it's definitely a legit criticism of the Rams. They didn't draft a single offensive lineman in the draft, and they said they're happy with the guys that they have. And to like their credit, they've drafted a lot of offensive linemen in the previous drafts, and they believe that these guys are going to develop into NFL talent. However, we have a center battle position in camp this year, and those guard positions they're questionable. So the interior of our O-line is definitely, I guess, what you would say a weakness. In comparison, though, to the rest of the NFC West, I think the Rams have the least amount of question marks as a team, which is often why people might say the Rams are the favorite to win right now. Once the season comes and we see how Seattle and Arizona and San Francisco, how all of their defenses, their offensive lines, their receiving cores, how that's all gelling, those are the question marks, right? And with the Rams, you're like, hey, we know we have a good receiving core, we have a good running game, maybe some question marks on the offensive line. We've upgraded our quarterback position. Our defense was number one last year. Yes, we lost some key contributors, but only one of those contributors in John Johnson, the safety, what I say is hard to replace. And we do have a good safety in Jordan Fuller who looks to make that step to replace John Johnson. And I'm excited for next season though, man.
Yeah, you know what? You're spot on this one. I mean, yeah, I do see a little weakness on the offensive line, especially the interior line. Since we're going to come back healthier, that might be the weakness that we'll have to expose right there. Yeah, the Rams have the best talent in this division, and it's no bias about it, no delusional coming out of me. I mean, as a Niners fan, I do see this team as the most talented team right now that has the pressure. At this point, we are coming off injuries. We are still unproven. We still gotta stay healthy. We still gotta play consistent. I mean, I want this team to go further than expected, but I gotta keep it realistic on the team. Yes, the strength of our team is the running game. We just added running backs. It's a beautiful feeling just to run the ball right down their throats a little bit.
Who do you have in that stable of running backs this year? I know Moster's still there. Is Coleman still there?
No, he went to the Jets.
Okay, Coleman's Jets.
Yeah, so okay, running back depth wise, okay, you have Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson is he's gonna miss some time, but he is on our depth chart. Trey Sermon, who we just drafted at Ohio State, he's a good physical back. He was originally from Oklahoma, but he transferred just for that 1 year to play that system that we run. We run a zone scheme, which he'll fit well. I am more optimistic about this guy. Then we just signed Wayne Goldman, who's not too bad of a running back. He did a
scrapper. Yeah, he's a power back.
Yeah, he did solid for Barkley when he was injured. Yeah, the only weakness I'm more concerned about is the secondary because, like, Verrett, don't get me wrong, if healthy, he is a good player. But if he misses time, that does hurt our secondary. And we got a lot of these unproven guys. I'm more excited about this Aubrey Thomas kid. I want to see if he can step into the plate. I mean, after Quan Williams, if he's out, that's going to be a question mark. So I think we can see what we can get from Diamador Lenore from Oregon. Hopefully he does good. Safety seems like a decent depth. Linebacking core, it's all right. Like after those three, it's just like the rest of them seem a little bit question mark. Defensive line is really stacked. It's really good. I think it's one of our best strengths overall. Offensive line, it's all right. Not as flashy, but we did draft Aaron Banks, so he should be able to compete for that starting job. So between him and Brunskill, I think that's up for that competition spot. So then you look at the quarterback spot, which is our strength now. Before last year, we didn't have that backup quarterback to step in. Nick Mullins just couldn't do it. CJ Beathard was just god awful. Let's be honest about that part.
Nick Mullins did it against the Rams.
Yeah, he had his moments, but he did play good against the Rams and Seahawks. So he had his moments there. But the point about him is like, you look at the team's strength. Yeah, we do have a good offensive-minded coach. We got one of the best in the league, but it's just we don't have the guys to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. We only made one run in the playoffs, and that one time under Shanahan, we did make the run to the Super Bowl, but it just came short. I think now that we need to get the right players. If we can stay healthy, we can be dangerous. But just keep it realistically. I just think that the Rams, when they have their best talent, they might give us the best to give us a lot of fits, put like out of it, So they might give us more problems. But then Seattle seems to have our number. Arizona seems to give us issues from time to time. So it's like, I just think this year, I think this is the team with the most pressure. The team with the most pressure is the Rams because you made that move for Stafford. You made that move because you want to make a push for that Super Bowl. So for the Rams too, you guys got a great defense. I mean, running back by committee, that's actually working for you guys. You got Cam Akers. You got what's that? What's the other running back? Darrell Henderson.
I love Henderson. No one gives him enough credit, but he's a great running back.
Yeah, that Henderson, Darrell Henderson, he's a speedy back. He's good. And then you guys got another running back. I forget his name. But the point is, like, you guys are really talented. I think the only thing that you just said that was correctly, it was the interior line. That might be your biggest weakness.
Yeah, absolutely. And to everyone in the comments, thank you so much, for having me on. It's great to be here. And I celebrate because I'm from Canada. I celebrate July 1st, which is it's Canada's version of July 4th. But I do wish happy July 4th weekend to all of the Americans in the entire world.
So what you guys do in Canada, is it just the same thing with fireworks and stuff like that?
Fireworks, yeah, fireworks, and it literally is a Canadian ripoff version of America's 4th of July. But it's a good time. It's a good time.
Well, nothing wrong with that, man. As long as you enjoy the holiday, that's all that matters. Like, we enjoy a good day of our country. But
okay.
All right, let's get to the. So, how do you feel about Sean McVay as an offensive minded coach? Do you think he's one of the best, or you think Shanahan's a little bit better than him?
I think that I'm totally biased towards Sean McVay because I have been a Rams fan for a long time, and I lived through the Jeff Fisher, the Steve Spagnuolo, the Scott Linehan's, the Mike Martz, all those years that just did not go well. Sean McVay took a team that was 4-12 and brought them to an 11-5 team in 1 year. A huge fan of Sean McVay. I think he's still a young coach. Like, he's only, I think, 34 years old, so people forget that. I think Sean McVay is someone, he's his own biggest critic, and he's someone who's still, constantly learning, and he's, willing to let others input and succeed. And I think sometimes that impacted the offense at times last season. Again, this is all speculation. I don't have insider information or anything, but there were some times where you're just like, why did you call that play? Like I think every fan has that with a team, but especially against the Niners last year, anyone who subscribed to my channel, you'll hear me talk about my biggest pet peeve with Sean McVay is so many times he calls a timeout in the third quarter for no reason. Like it's just the third quarter timeout. Cool. And then the other thing is it'll often be like 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 12 or something like that. And boom, he calls a 3rd and long bubble screen. And it's like, Sean McVay, these stupid 3rd and long bubble screens, they've only worked like once the past like 4 years, but for some reason you feel the need to call it. And yeah. So, but besides those two things, I'm a huge fan of McVay. I think that Kyle Shanahan has had his number, obviously, the past 2 years. But I would also add that, like, McVay I think he's only lost to Seattle twice, and then he's never lost to the Cardinals since becoming the coach of the Rams. So in the division, minus the past 2 years with the Niners, he's doing really well.
Yeah, that now that you make a good argument about it, like I've been kind of like telling my own fan base, like, to be honest, at this point, Sean McVay's actually been the more successful. Like, he's got a winning record. It kind of speaks for itself. Yeah, early success can eventually, I don't want to sound like another way around, but I think the way Sean McVay's been doing it for the Rams, he's been turning this culture around. Mm-hmm. And I'm just hoping for the same way with Shanahan, but it's just been the injuries that's been hurting us. But Rihanna Peralta is asking you a question for yourself as a Rams fan. What team do you hate the most?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I've been asked this question before, and thank you very much for that question. It depends on the season, really, for me. Right now, I would probably say, like, I'm not much of a hater, but the team that I'm annoyed with right now the most is the Niners, just because
that's fine.
They've beaten us twice in a row. However, like the Seahawks, I don't want them to beat the Rams either, or the Cardinals, right? And I am a fan of football also. Like George Kittle, love watching him play. Even though I'm not a fan of his team, I'm a fan of him. And like I'm a big fan of like Russell Wilson as a quarterback. It's fun to watch. Like if you're a football fan, you have to appreciate what he does on the field, even though you're like, I don't want the Seahawks to win. But yeah, that's kind of what I'd say the Niners right now. But if you were to ask me, like, come the season, it might change.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I understand because, it's coming from a team that we play twice a year. I would hate to play that team twice a year and get owned by. But if I had to currently pick which one I can't stand, it's got to be Seattle. It's like, no matter how good we were, they tend to always beat us. Like in 2019, we had the best talent. And for some reason, they just beat us in Monday night. And that just kind of annoys me. And then a lot of their fan base, don't get me wrong, there's some good fan base. There's some good, classy Seattle fans, but they try to act like a bunch of Raider fans. Like, I don't get it. Don't copy them. Okay, so Kyle had to replace a whole team. Yeah, that was the thing with Shanahan, but McVay had the same thing also. Like, when they had it with the Rams, Jeff Fisher had all this talent, but it just wasn't the same. Yeah, that's a good argument because Shanahan did have to start from the team from scratch. He had to start from scratch to build this team. The only problem with Shanahan is he's been taking chances with other players with injury history. He's been taking chances with players who are not even proven, but they get more chances than the actual players who deserve chances. Like, there was chances where you could have just cut Trent Taylor. The guy was god-awful. He didn't seem to play his best ever since his rookie year, even with the injuries. Shanahan kept giving him chances. Dante Pettis, he had chances, but wasn't given an actual fair chance. I think he just wasn't in the right situation. And I think maybe with the Giants, maybe he might be okay. Not as good as he is. Matt Breida, maybe that one fumble issue and that issue just kind of just went the other way. Yeah.
Well, and I guess I would kind of respond to that as like when McVay took over the Rams, sure, he had Aaron Donald and Michael Brockers and a couple other keystones. He also had to come in and have Jared Goff as his quarterback, who had a terrible rookie year. And then the Rams hadn't had a they struggled to score 20 points a game for a long time, like under the Jeff Fisher era. And in McVay's first year, the Rams were scoring over 31 points a game. So there's that turnaround. And it'll be interesting to see how Shanahan and McVay's career, because they became head coaches at the same time. And they're both young coaches that will be compared the rest of their careers. But I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. See, at least with McVay, he did inherit some talent, but he was able to do what he can. But Shanahan just had to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see where it's different. Yeah, it's frustrating for us fan base to go through that rebuild situation.
And the Niners had the whole Kaepernick situation too.
I think a lot of it had to do with a lot of everything. Most teams had to struggle with a lot of it, but okay, let's see what McVay draft a great quarterback, because I think Shanahan got a great one. See, the thing with McVay is he didn't have to draft a quarterback. He could just he already had Jared Goff when he first came, and he developed him. But now that he's got Stafford, I don't know. Some teams are actually been okay. Like if you look at what Peyton Manning did, and that coach Gary Kubiak, he didn't draft a quarterback. He got the guy that was an MVP and won a Super Bowl. I mean, you look at the Buccaneers. What's that dude's name? Bruce Arians. He didn't draft a quarterback. He got Brady, aging Brady. They won a Super Bowl. It doesn't always have to be about drafting quarterbacks. I mean, if that's the case, Mike McCarthy inherited Aaron Rodgers when he passed on him, and the rest was history. But still, I mean, it's not all about. Sometimes you do want to draft your quarterback for the future, like Andy Reid did. Andy Reid did draft his quarterback. Cliff Kingsbury drafted his quarterback. So yeah, you want to get that relationship with the coaches and quarterback and be that team for the future. I mean, the Buffalo Bills did the right way with Josh Allen, so that's a good combination right there. I think they're like the most underrated team that could make a push, but we'll wait and see. I do like that kid, Josh Allen. He is like 45 minutes from where I'm from, so he's a good kid.
I think it's frustrating when your team, and because the Rams used to be like this all the time, when your team has a quarterback where you're like, they're good enough that like it's hard to upgrade over them, but they're not like the top tier. Like in today's NFL, I'd say like Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, like they're kind of in that discussion of like they're good, but like are they ever going to be MVP? No.
I mean, Kirk Cousins just puts on stats. Derek Carr, he's kind of been nothing more than just a pretty good quarterback, but just can't elevate his team with all that talent. I mean, he can do so much. You got to give him the better talent. Like, the Raiders don't have a great defense. Kirk Cousins, you can give him the best supporting cast, but I don't think he'll finish off in the playoffs. But he does seem to be good. I mean, you look at Kyler Murray. I think in year 3, maybe he might make a stride, or maybe he might do the same thing, because it seems to me the Cardinals have the better talent on offense. Defensively, they should be better. Yeah, I remember that time. Yeah, they should have called it a recovery, but it actually turned in our favor when they turn over the ball on down anyways. But still, you kind of get that vibe from the Seattle fans before. But the problem I never understood was, why are you guys trying to be like Raider fans? Don't try to be a copycatter of them, please. There's a difference between what you call internet, like what is like those people on the internet you don't like, but you actually don't even know them personally. The difference with the Raiders are they're just our crosstown rivals, like neighbors.
Yeah,
that we don't like. That just doesn't make sense.
I have this one Raiders fan who comes into my stream sometimes, and he trolls, and he'll be like, the Rams know who actually owns SoFi. It's Raiders fans. The Raiders fans actually own LA. That's what he tells me. And I'm like, dude, come on.
Well, they're barely paying their rent on Vegas. So
yeah.
I got nothing against some of their fan base, but it's just the way they act. I mean, it's just, I see a lot of these Seattle fans try to be all like Raider fans now, because you would expect that from that kind of fan base to celebrate an injured player.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, so the one thing that people forget about the Rams is, like, Sean McVay just hasn't had a losing season, not once.
Nope.
Like, even though he did miss one playoff season, but he still had a winning record.
Yeah,
which
and
is
like
impressive.
people forget like that year he went 9-7. The Rams they caught the injury bug, especially at our offensive line. We had guys that were like no one had ever heard of off the street, starting at like left tackle or right tackle or guard, and I think it's that season was a really tough season for McVay, and it like I definitely think we're gonna have a winning record next year. Whether it's top of the NFC or at the wild card, that's open to debate. But if you look at the Rams schedule, I think that it is a really good team, and I think we have the chance to win some games.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the schedule should be very favorable, but especially the NFC West, you're going to get a dogfight division, a good defense, a good team who can run the ball down their throats, a team that will play to the trenches. I mean, I think as far as like the Rams, they have the team with the most experience with Sean McVay. I mean, you can make an argument with Seattle too, but they've been decimated with injuries, but they still been able to manage to win games under Pete Carroll. They still, I mean, I know a lot of people are probably going to list Seattle as the most untalented team until otherwise. I mean, they still got Russell Wilson. They still have Pete Carroll, so it's going to be hard to still underestimate them.
And DJ Metcalf and Lockett, those are still two really good receivers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I mean, you got a big body receiver who can top the defense. Like he's kind of like as fast as Randy Moss, and he's got that Calvin Johnson body. Like, wow. Then you got the thing with the Rams is it's like people don't even talk about the tight end Tyler Higbee. He's pretty good.
Well, actually, sorry to interrupt you. In camp or recently in OTAs, the rookie, the 4th round rookie, the Rams drafted Jacob Harris. He's actually been getting more first team reps than over Tyler Higbee at the tight end position. And he's like a 6'5". He can run like a 4.3. Like he's an athletic freak. And I'm excited to see him for sure. Because we lost one of our tight ends to the Seahawks, Gerald Everett. Yeah.
Oh, so this one might be intriguing. So is this the player to watch out for, Jacob Harris?
Yeah, definitely. Like I know in the final round of my fantasy football drafts, I'm drafting tight end Jacob Harris for the Rams just because he's going to be one of those no-name late round players. But like, and again, I don't have a coaching background. I'm a huge football fan. I've been a huge fan my whole life. I don't know the intricacies of OTAs, and maybe they're just giving him more first team reps because he needs the reps over Higbee. But he has caught more balls from Stafford than Tyler Higbee has at this point in the offseason.
Well, I still think that he is pretty good, like for those times. But maybe that Jacob Harris, like, okay, so if I had to do a fantasy football draft and it came down to a sleeper tight end, should I even consider Jacob Harris?
I'm not a fantasy expert, but I would say he is 100% a sleeper. Do not draft him to be your starting tight end. But if you're looking at someone who could maybe become like a top tier tight end, Jacob Harris has the makings for sure.
Okay, so okay, let's put in like let's list 3 of your players to watch out for on the Rams. Which one should concern the Niners coming into the season when we play you guys twice a year?
Yeah, so definitely like you okay, I'm gonna do there's so many I could talk about. On offense, you're gonna have to worry about Cam Akers and Henderson. I'm just gonna put them as one, like a 1-2 punch. They are very different styles of runners, and I think McVay has taken a page from Shanahan even. Now that Todd Gurley has moved on, he's going to more of that running back that has that change of pace to it. Henderson is probably a bit better catching out of the backfield, but Henderson probably is the better overall back. Definitely you'll want to watch out for Aaron Donald. Yeah. And I think someone I'm excited to see is your boy Brandon Ayuk line up with my boy Jalen Ramsey.
Oh yeah, Ramsey. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so those are the three players. But okay, so for the sleeper, I gotta be more watching out for Jacob Harris.
Jacob Harris definitely, and also like on defense, a linebacker named Kenny Young. He's been with the Rams for a while, and I think he's had some big plays, but I think he's definitely going to be a player that people are going to know this season.
Okay, so definitely, yeah, no doubt, Aaron Donald's the best player by far. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. You still got to play at your best. Jalen Ramsey, of course, he's one of the top corners in the league. Two of your running back by committee, yeah, that is kind of tricky because Cam Akers, he can just make a big run. He's very physical. Darrell Henderson's a speedy back. He can catch the ball at the backfield. That's a good one right there. You could just put those two in just one. That's like getting a double stuffed Oreo. And they both dangerous, so you might as well double stuff it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will say one more thing about Aaron Donald. He posted a video, and all the Rams fans and all of the forums and Facebook groups the past like 24 hours have been freaking out about. It's him on the morning of July 4th. He's alone in a like indoor like training facility, and he's doing this insane workout. And I think it had the caption like "can't take a day off," and he's just him on the morning of July 4th doing this insane training.
Yeah, the thing about Aaron Donald is he has that insane training. He has like some techniques that he does. I mean, like if you check out the videos of what he does, he shows you how to do those quick get offs and those techniques perfectly good. Like, yeah, but he's got that speed element, and he's a bull rush. I mean, the thing I like about Aaron Donald is he's not even the biggest D tackle. He just plays with speed. He plays with heart. Like this guy's like, what is it, 6'1", like almost like 300 pounds, but I think he's about 280. But he plays like tough. Like he has that low gravity. So that's what's so good about Aaron Donald.
So if you don't mind me asking, I asked you the same question. Can you give me three players that the Rams got to look out for come next season when we play twice?
Oh, okay. So three of them. Well, of course, you got to watch out for Kittle. Kittle's always been the scary of this team. He's been the heart and soul of this offense. I mean, that's the thing about most teams. When you play Kittle, it's going to be a tough matchup. It doesn't matter how you cover him. He's still going to be a factor as a blocker or as a catcher. Doesn't matter. Kittle's going to be a factor. On defense, Fred Warner. Fred Warner is just one of our best heart and soul of defenders.
Yeah.
And the one player you guys got to watch out for when healthy, got to watch out for Bosa. Bosa's just got that. He's got that technique.
He's coming back from injury this year. Oh yeah. Yeah,
and he might even usually when they come off an injury, they come up with something that proves. So that might be one of the players.
Oh no, Nick he has a chip on his shoulder. Oh no.
I would say our receivers too, but I think everybody's already getting that notice about it. So as far as a sleeper, okay, like a player that people need to watch out for, you're pretty familiar with this guy. So I think you might know who I'm talking about. I mean, this guy used to play for you guys. He's having a good offseason workout. He's on it like
Ebicom?
Samson. Yeah, Ebicom is a guy you might need to watch out for. Like this guy knows you guys pretty well, and he's gonna be asked to rush to that quarterback. So even though D Ford's still on the roster, there's 100% uncertain that he might play this season. So this is why we signed Samson Ebicom to be that guy. So that's a sleeper to watch out for, and then the other player that comes to mind that you might. I mean, of course, you're going to see this guy as a big factor, but I think when healthy, he is great. Raheem Mostert, that big run element, that guy's something. But the one rookie that you might need to be careful for is Trey Sermon.
Okay.
I think because he can be a good receiving back. He's a physical runner. He's hard to tackle. So that might be your toughest assignment when you guys play against our team. Is you may have a hard time with Mostert, but you may need to watch out for Sermon. Sermon is like a different kind of running back. He plays physical after contact, and he's a good receiving back. So that might be the issue there.
Great. Something else I wanted to ask you in this stream when I kind of did my notes ahead of time is there's one thing that the Rams and Niners have in common. that's actually a really big deal that I don't hear anyone talk about that much. Is both the Rams and the Niners lost defensive coordinators who were really good. Robert Saleh became the head coach of the Jets, and then Brandon Staley became the head coach of the Chargers. Who do you think? Because who did the Niners get as their new DC?
D'Amico Ryans.
You're right. Yeah, I'm curious between him and Raheem Morris. Who do you think is under more pressure to replace their coordinator that they just replaced?
That's a tough one, man. Now that you gave me to that question, that's kind of making me think. I mean, well, D'Amico Ryans does have to fill in for Saleh pretty well, so he has to be able to step in as a play caller. As far as like the Rams, that defensive coordinator that you guys got for that 1 year, he is good. He's really good. So I think when it comes down to it, I think Morris, because he's got the most experience and he's got a good track record. And I think that's the one with the most pressure because Raymond's got a good valid point. Because D'Amico Ryans doesn't have experience as a defensive coordinator. He's been a linebackers coach. So
that's fair.
That's
yeah.
It'll
be interesting to see them both next year for sure.
Yeah, it would be because Raheem Morris he has a good track record. He was defense coordinator for the Buccaneers and defense coordinator for the Falcons, I believe. And then I think there was quite a few other teams he did become DC for. And then
he's been around for a while, yeah.
So I think the one with the most experience and the one with the most success does have pressure. D'Amico Ryans is more like the unproven commodity because he was coaching linebackers. So
right.
That's true.
It'll just be interesting just because like the Niners often, to my experience last year, most of the games that they won, because they were so devastated by injury, Saleh's defense was able to keep them in a lot of games, right?
Yeah, despite all the injuries, he did get the most out of those talent. Like I think we were like top 10 or something when we had those injury bugs, but we were still able to produce. I mean, we got one of the most underrated defensive line coach and Chris Kacerek. Like this guy, I mean, Kerry Hyder, this guy was like barely average. He only had one breakout year with Detroit, and then he was never the same. Then when he came to San Francisco, he became the same exact guy, if not better, and now he's signing with Seattle. So it's kind of like, I don't know if he's going to pan out with Seattle with the way he was coached, or I think maybe he's just one of those guys, hopefully. I'm just like hoping maybe he doesn't pan out against my team.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah. So, let me ask you a question, man. As a person who's been a Rams fan for your entire life, what was that one player that you just couldn't stand and you were just excited for that moment he was cut at that point?
This is so hard. I'm sorry, folks. Oh, there's a few. You know what? I'm going to go with I'm going to have to ask you to let me pick two because there's two that come to mind.
Yeah, go with two.
The number one is a guy named Greg Robinson, who the Rams drafted with the second overall pick. And all the draft analysts said, oh, he's going to be this next great, left tackle for 10 plus years. The guy did squat, like literally did nothing. And that draft pick set the Rams back many years. And he never groomed into a starter at even the guard or tackle position. And just to pick someone like that, number 2 overall, it really sets you back. And then the other one I would say, and this one, it's tough to say it, but it's Sam Bradford. And when Sam Bradford, every Rams fan always said, oh, when Bradford's healthy, he's great. But he just was rarely ever healthy. And like if you look back, he only played like probably 30% of the games that he was eligible to play because he only ever played one full season with the Rams in his rookie year. And he was always missing time. And it's so discouraging, like, because he went down twice in the preseason. And so when your starting quarterback goes down in the preseason or early in the season, as Niners fan know, like, it's just so discouraging.
Oh no, I could understand because he was injury prone. But man, dude, as an Oklahoma Sooners fan, bro, this guy, he was like the most accurate passer we had in our time. So it was
Yeah.
like when you guys drafted him at the time when you guys did that, I was like shaking my own head, like, why you guys draft my boy? Why you draft my boy? Then he never panned out, and I'm like, oh, thank God. But I wasn't hoping bad. I
Yeah.
like Bradford, and
Oh,
I do have that. I
fantastic.
do have that Peterson jersey, so I do have that Adrian Peterson Oklahoma jersey and that Mayfield. So I've been
That's
trying to
cool.
look for a Bradford jersey, but yeah. Okay, let's get to this question with Raymond. He's asking about what you think of Epicom.
Yeah, great question. So Ebicon for the Rams was a rotational pass rusher. He was situational. He often came in on third downs. He high motor guy. You can accuse him of taking plays off. Early on in his career, you can accuse him of that. However, he got a lot better, and I was sad to see him go. And I think the Niners got a great player in him. He's a big play guy. He probably his most notable play is in the Rams Monday night game versus the Chiefs a while ago. Aaron Donald forced a fumble, and Ebicon recovered the fumble and returned it for a touchdown. But yeah, he's definitely, he's a guy with really good pass rush technique, not the best run blocker. But again, with the Rams, he was a rotational player, so there is a smaller sample size. But I think the Niners it was a good pickup for the Niners.
Okay, all right. So let's check. Oh, so man, so I guess Tommy said it's okay to call you Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
Covered.
Yeah, it's an inside joke. No way. Hey, how's it going, Tommy? Oh, Jay in the Bay. Oh man. What's up, Jay?
Yeah, dude. You know what caught me by surprise, man? It's like I saw you get rid of that beard, man. I was looking forward to that beard on that stream, man. Like I still got it right here. I still
Oh, I'm
rocking it.
sorry, man. Don't worry, it'll grow back fast. We've had a lot of heat here in Canada, and I probably shave it once a year, and this was just the one time. But it'll grow back. Don't worry.
Yeah, but you know what's the most intriguing thing about me is like ever since I've kind of like grown this beard, it's kind of been my signature for like my job. Like people
Oh
who
yeah.
try to mess with me, they got that intimidation not to mess with me. So it's like, yeah. Oh,
Don't
why
mess with
did
the
you?
man with a goatee.
Oh, Tommy's calling you that.
uh, as I said, Tommy, it was really hot here, and to be honest, I was eating some really gross chicken wings, and it just sauce got stuck up all in there, and I woke up after I had washed it, and I was like, you know what, it's gotta be done, and so shaved it off. Don't worry, it's growing back. You can't maybe see it the best on camera, but it's growing. I got the shadow. It's coming.
No big deal, man. I guess they were just asking that beard question because they always see you with that beard. But
Yeah,
I guess you go as Mr. Clean as everybody else would say. But
right.
I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like going exactly like you a little bit, but just
Look,
rocking the beard more.
looking good, man. Looking good.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, yeah, you look good, man. Don't even sweat it, man.
Thanks,
Maybe
everyone.
you'll be maybe you be the face of the Canadian maple. Put
Yeah,
on that syrup.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. All right. So those are the two players you don't like. Okay, I'll give you at least two players to be
Yeah.
fairly honest. I mean,
Let's do it.
I don't know. Some Niner fans will look at me and just tell me why you still hate this guy. It's because he's unproven. Even though he's kind of improving quite a while, I got to put Jimmy Ward. And it's just nothing against the guy. I just don't like the way he plays. I mean, he doesn't step up to the plate. He doesn't. But I'll give him credit where it's due. He did stay healthy finally, but he's kind of been the guy who can't even capitalize turnovers at times. And a lot of our fan base keep making excuses about this guy. Like, oh, give him a chance. He's good. He's good. I'm like, I don't know, man. This guy, even if he's trying to be nice to me, I still am not a fan of his. It's
Yeah.
just, and then there's another player that comes to mind that I just don't like. There's just quite a few good ones that I don't like, but when it comes to mine, Kwame Harris. Kwame Harris, one of the worst draft picks we ever had. That guy
Mm.
couldn't block to save his life.
Who drafted him?
We did. I think under Mariucci in 2003.
Oh, okay,
No,
yeah.
no, no. Dennis Erickson.
Okay.
But that guy couldn't block to save his life. I mean, and then we even signed Jonathan Martin, even worse than Kwame Harris, and that guy couldn't save to block his life either. But I mean, come on. I mean, there's quite a few players I don't like, but it's kind of hard to be harsh on Jimmy Ward. I'm his biggest critic, so I'm still gonna come at him and give him some honest opinion. But I think as far as him as a person, I think he's a nice guy, but I just don't like him as a player.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. So, who's one of your favorite Rams players of all time that you like, that made you a fan? Like the time you got to watch that guy play, you said, that's the team I'm going to go for.
Oh, there's so many, but I gotta give respect to Marshall Faulk. I became a Rams fan back in the '99 season. I'll fully admit to getting on that bandwagon. I just stayed on it. Been on it ever since. But yeah, it was fun. That was a fun team to watch. But Marshall Faulk was the funnest player to watch, and so electric, so elusive. I'd say the majority of games in the '99 and 2000 and 2001 season, Marshall Faulk was the best player on the field. And you just like it just, he was so fun. I love all the Rams legends, like Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Ricky Proehl. I'm a huge Steven Jackson fan. A lot of Rams hate on him, but great player. But yeah, even back to the old days before my time as a Rams fan, the era of Dickerson, Crazy Legs, and I'll go with Marshall Faulk right there. But can I guess who yours is?
Oh, dude. Okay, as a fan growing up,
Was it Rice?
Nah, Steve Young.
Okay, I respect that. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool.
No, because as a kid, I would always see number 8 play the ball. He would always throw the ball, and the time I got to watch it was like during the '98 season. Started watching more of it as a kid, but when I was a toddler, I barely witnessed the Super Bowl because my brother was into that team. As a kid, you would just watch and observe. You didn't know much about it, but I knew that the time that number 8 was the guy that would throw 6 touchdowns in that game. And that's just what made me the fan. It just bought me in. Steve Young just hooked me in since then. I mean, I did enjoy watching T.O. The guy had attitude. The guy had swag. The guy was just cocky and arrogant. And the way I brought it to the table on the team I played for, they told me, stop being like T.O., man. You're just trying to bring some toxic to the team. And I'm like, man, this guy and all that. But I did enjoy watching Garrison Hurst was another great back I did like. Tim McDonald was a local, so I've seen him play before, and I just didn't know if he was coaching high school until somebody brought his name up, and I started recognizing. I said, "Yeah, number 46, he was a beast too." But if I had to list 5 of my favorite players, Steve Young's number 1. Terrell Owens would be number 2. I know Rice is number, but then some people are gonna say, "Why you don't put Rice up there?" It's because I only got to see a little bit of Rice in my early but he was a great player, so of course I'm going to put him up there. I didn't see much of Joe Montana, so I can't say much about him, but I know he was the GOAT, so of course I'll put him at number 4. And then number 5, it's a tough one. See, this is a tough one, but if I had to pick number 5, I know some people will hate me for this, but I do got his autograph. Let me give you a second. I'm going to show you it. He's forgotten. He should even get in the Hall of Fame. Hold on a second.
I'm so curious who this is going to be.
Hold on. You see it?
I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. I just see a reflection.
Oh, you see it? It's Roger Craig.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they call him the Catfish.
Cool.
But he cost us that 3-peat according to our fan base. But I did get his autograph. I mean, I would put Ronnie Lott up there too, but I have so many players. It's hard to pick between 5. I have to have top 10s to put all of them. But those are players I grew up watching. So if you had to list your 5 favorite Rams of all time, who would it be? I know Marshall Faulk would be number one for you.
Yeah, Marshall Faulk, Steven Jackson, Kurt Warner's up there. Deacon Jones, I wasn't alive when he was playing, but if you go and watch Deacon Jones highlights, like you're just like, this guy was a beast of a linebacker. You know what? I'd even put Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. I love them both like equally, but I think right now I'd say Isaac Bruce just because he got the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl in '99.
Oh, okay. So no Henry Elliott.
No. Again, if you want, you asked me to pick 5. Okay.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. Just messing with you, man. But yeah, you know what's a fun fact about Henry Elliott? He went to Fresno State, and he's a local right here too. So he's cool.
You can see him. At the
I guess he was. Yeah, I guess he was like the original 80 before Isaac Bruce had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaac Bruce is good. Don't get me wrong. Like he was a good route runner. He was fast.
At the end of his career, I remember that.
Yeah, he played 2 good. He played like his first year with the Niners. He had 800 yards. Then his second year, he only had 400 yards. But he still was helping us through those tough times.
I remember actually, it was a really cool memory with him. In the final game of his career, it was against the Rams, and Singletary was your coach at the time, and there was like a couple of plays that they strategically made it go to Isaac Bruce because they knew that like that was his last game, and there was a lot of Rams fans there that supported him. And I know Singletary didn't have a very long career with the Niners, but I was happy that he did that.
Well, they wanted to make sure that he got his recognition to the Hall of Fame, in which he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, this guy, dude, he was like one of the most forgotten Ram players. Like, of course, you guys overhyped Torrey Holt because this guy was an All-Pro, but his hands were ugly. Like, damn. But this guy can catch. That's the thing. Yeah, Isaac Bruce doesn't get much recognition. Then you have Henry Elliott is another one of your time. You had Flipper Anderson, another receiver. Then you had quite a few good receivers at the time that people don't even talk about. But Robert Woods, when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be one of your top 3 or top 5 maybe.
I think Robert Woods is going to have the best year of his career coming up this year.
I think he will be, because I think when it comes down to it, I think Stafford's going to have trust with him.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to those third downs, I think Cooper Kupp might be the guy to step in.
Yeah.
And then the one that may be the most intriguing, so I might need to watch out for Jacob Harris then. Man, Jacob Harris might be that sleeper.
Keep an eye out.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, man, like anybody else, man, any questions before we end the stream? But Payo time, man. This guy's a good content creator. If any of you guys haven't subbed him, go check him out. He does his Ram content. He does like having a mix of other teams also, other fans. You're more than welcome to go to his stream when he does his little what is it called, your MOOF thing?
Yeah, I have a series called MOOF, which stands for the most overly optimistic fan in the NFL. I'm 20 teams in. I'm looking for 12 more teams. I'm trying to interview one fan from every NFL team and do a game-by-game schedule prediction. And kind of, because if there's ever a time to be optimistic for your team, it's right now in June, now July.
Yeah. See, that might be the most intriguing thing, since your tight end's pretty big. I think he might be Stafford's go-to guy. Man.
It's definitely going to be interesting.
So wait a minute. So Megatron hates Stafford? I don't know if that's true. Maybe he was just a little bit of an ego.
You know what? I think Megatron has an awkward relationship with like the NFL, but especially the Lions organization. Yeah. So like I've heard different rumors about that, things like that, but it's tough for us to confirm.
Well, sometimes with these organizations, you had guys like Barry Sanders who retired too soon, and I think it had to do with the relationship in that organization.
Yeah.
What's your score prediction for when we play the Rams? Dude, I don't want to get too cocky, but
it's tough.
I expect it to be a close game. And of course, I'm going to pick my team on the side. He'll probably pick his team on the side, of course. But I expect it to be a close game, maybe overtime, last second field goal. I'm just thinking optimistically, we shall see. Okay, I think we split series. I think it's going to come down to that because I think the Rams are going to give it their best this year. I hope that we kind of stay the same way with them and own them, but it changes every year. So anything changes every year. So yeah, I mean, I think the difference with the Rams this year is they won't have to get a quarterback to follow the playbook instead of what he does. I mean, you get this guy who's very accurate. Just staying healthy is the big thing with Stafford. When healthy, he's a good quarterback, but he's been unproven in the playoffs, so that might be the question mark right there. Can Stafford win a playoff game if that's the case?
I'm hoping he can because we've gave up a lot to get him.
Yeah, that's true. See, that's what I don't. Yeah. It's not about being nice. It's like I expect it to be more of a competitive game. Of course, the Rams are going to give it their best. When it comes down to it, it always comes down to the field goal or a touchdown. So one of the two. So, I mean, okay. So he asked you, do you like the new logo of the New Jersey from the Rams?
Compared to our old logo, no, I don't. I am someone that will say the new jerseys, they look better in SoFi. They look super ugly anywhere else, but because they were built to be branded with SoFi Stadium, they look good there, but anywhere else they look ugly. But I don't know. I was part of the overreaction of like, oh, come on, our logo looks stupid or things like that. But I get that no matter what an NFL team does as a rebrand, it's going to get criticized. I like the old logo better for sure, but yeah.
Well, I don't know, but when you look at the Rams, New Jersey, it kind of looks a little bit like the UCLA uniforms, kind of.
In some ways, yeah.
A little bit different, but the way the color is, I like the old school color what they used to have, where it was more like, even as a Niners fan, I always thought the old school Rams jersey were a little bit sick and dope a little bit, and you had that old school Ram logo helmet differently at the time. But it's kind of different. I mean, I think a lot of these color uniforms, and it has to do with the stadium thing. A lot of it does kind of like sponsors that stuff. So I think that's why the Rams had to change the image because they moved back to LA and they get a new stadium. So maybe that's part of the deal. Oh, we'll give you a new stadium. Just get us. We'll get new jerseys for you guys.
It seems like the Rams marketing team as a whole wants people to forget all about their time in St. Louis to a lot of ways. They don't promote the like 99 season a lot. Like they don't wear the throwbacks to that season or anything. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Well, do you think it kind of does look like the Chargers? Like, dude, like I kind of thought identically it does.
Yeah, we get that a
lot. Damn you Chargers. They still got to pay you guys rent, right?
Yep.
I always hear that motto from a Rams fan. Oh, Chargers, pay your rent. It's due.
Yeah. Well, it is like I try to stay out of the business side of football to an extent, but I do know there is a pretty large like dispute between the Chargers and the Rams organizations right now from the business of SoFi.
Yeah, a lot to do with the uniform, a lot to do with the stadium, and then the coach they just hired is from your guys' organization. Yeah, who's your guy that stands out player for the coming season?
Ooh, you know what? I think for the Rams, I think it is going to be Robert Woods. I really think he's going to put the NFL on notice that he really is one of the best wide receivers in the game, and I think it'll be the best season of Robert Woods' career. I really do believe that.
Nah, that's just water, Tommy. Drinking water, living rent-free in his head. I don't know what he's talking about, but 49er Mind is kind of funny. But yeah, so yeah, man, appreciate you on the stream. Yeah, anybody else who hasn't subscribed him, go check him out. Go check out Payo Time, a 49er Minded. If you want to collaborate with this guy, he's more than open, and I'm pretty sure he'll check out your content.
For sure.
NorCal is just an original follower of mine. He doesn't have a channel, but he's a cool dude. Roberto, he's a cool dude. He comes and goes. You know, he's a cool dude, nice guy. I don't know much about Herman Cruz, but I think he's a new follower, or maybe he's a Rams. I don't know, Niners or Rams fan. I don't know what. Wait, I think he's a Niners fan. Raymond's a new follower as of lately. Seen him around from other streams. He's a cool dude. Jay and the Babe, we know him for sure. He's
huge fan of Jay and the Babe, yeah.
Yeah, he's a connection to us, you know. Then you got Sean T. Uber. Go check him out. He's a cool dude. Other than that, man, Payo time, man. If you guys ain't with this little NFC West vibe, man, if you want to check out NFC West content, man, go check out Payo time. I mean, we might even collaborate during the season, so that might be the thing to look forward to. I'll come to your stream, or you want to come to mine.
I'd love
up to you.
That. Yeah,
it's up for debate, man. Man. It's up for debate.
For sure.
All right, got it. Yeah, all right. So Payo time, like he says, Niners all day. But okay, for you, I'm gonna give you one last thing, and then we're gonna end the stream, and I'm gonna tell everybody else to go check out your channel. I'll even share it through the community tab for those other people to check it out. But okay, I'm gonna put you a last saying.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we're gonna have a fun time this upcoming season. And if you love talking football, feel free to subscribe to Payo Time. And we're gonna have a great season with the Rams, and go Rams. That's all I have to say.
All right, man. That's cool. Appreciate it, man. I know you're a Rams fan. I know it's gonna be an interesting week. So maybe I'll just contact you, see if you want to collaborate on that week when we play against each other.
For sure.
Maybe get a couple of your Rams buddies to come over here too, like showcase at house to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So for everybody else, CG Ruthless Sports is out, and Payo Time is out too. So be sure to hit the like and hit the subscription, and go check out Payo Time. As I gotta go. Peace.